What's up, my fellow Michiganians, Michiganders, whatever you happen to call yourselves? Welcome to Wolverine State Sports Talk. We just got some big news from the Detroit Pistons. So the Pistons have decided to trade Jerami Grant to the Portland Trailblazers for a first-round pick. I first saw that on my phone and I thought, not bad. So we get the 7 pick? And then I actually clicked on the link and I saw exactly what the trade was. So it's a 2025 first-round pick. And it's going to be through Milwaukee, not Portland. And also the pick is highly protected, so if Milwaukee finishes in the bottom 4, we don't get that pick, which they're probably not going to. So we basically just traded Jerami Grant for a pick 3 years down the road that's likely going to be in the bottom 20s. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't real happy about the trade. So if you want my grade for Troy Weaver's trade, first I thought definitely a D or something like that. But I actually gave it a C+. And here's why. Yes, I think we should have gotten more, and I don't really know what the trade negotiations were like. I don't know. We all thought Jerami Grant had higher value, but I guess apparently not. I mean, he is approaching his 30s, and pretty much the main part of his game is scoring. I mean, I think he's a very good basketball player. I liked him a lot here. But when you really think about it, Troy Weaver was the one who signed him, and the reason why he signed him was to use him as a trade piece. So he did that. So I guess you can look at it this way. We didn't really lose anything, and we got a first-round trade for a guy that Weaver signed. So at least Weaver got something out of Grant that will help us in the future. And, bottom 20 pick is nothing to write home about, but you never know. I mean, look at Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was drafted in the late 20s, and he did great. So it's all going to come down to if Weaver can evaluate talent effectively. And, Saddiq Bey was picked at 18, and it's not far-fetched to think that the Pistons could pick around there. So it all depends on what they do with that trade, but it's going to take about 5 years to evaluate just who we get and how good they really are. But also, that being said, what this tells me is that the Pistons are focused on free agency, which I think is very interesting because you don't really think of Detroit as a free agent place. So I guess what that means is that we need more money to sign the guys that we want. Now we don't have a small forward because that's kind of what I think of Grant. He's kind of a small forward. So are we going to look to get someone who's a little bit younger? If we did that, I wouldn't really have a problem with it. We're going to need some money to re-sign Bagley, so getting $20 million extra dollars in cap space definitely is a big hit. We can sign, we pretty much can sign whoever we want in free agency because of how much money we have. And also remember, the salary cap in the NBA is not a hard cap. So in reality, we actually have a ton of money. And we don't feel like this free agent class is very good. We feel like we want to wait another year. Can't really say I'm too against that. I mean, rack up another first-round pick and then splurge. The idea is, though, that since we just got rid of Jerami Grant, we're not ready. I don't know if we're ready to splurge this season. We could do it next year. But even if we are, I'd be very happy to add a young piece like Miles Bridges. Bradley Beal to me would be like trading a peach for an apple. I like peaches a little bit better than apples, but I mean, Jerami Grant is a great player and Bradley Beal is an elite player. But I don't know, that might take the Pistons from being a bottom feeder to barely squeaking in the playoffs, so I don't really think that's worth it. I think, though, Miles Bridges is a guy that wants to be in Detroit, guy who grew up here. I think that's the kind of guy that you want here. And same with Marvin Bagley, I think he's developed good rapport with Cade Cunningham and Coach Dwayne Casey. So I think we're going to be able to sign a couple of big guys. So that's definitely a win. And that's why I give this grade a little bit higher than a D, because it does free up a lot of cap space. And we're still in very, very good shape as a franchise. Don't get it twisted. We have so much cap space. I know we're not going to get a top 4 pick this year, which stinks, but it all depends on, can Weaver find that hidden gem? If Weaver's really good at talent evaluating, then he's going to find somebody in free agency and he's going to find someone in this draft. It's just that simple. So, whether that guy's Jaden Ivey or Keegan Murray, personally, I don't know if either of those two guys will be superstars, but they can't hurt to add to the team. I'll say that. Even if we can get a good role player that can score in double figures, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt this team. So the Pistons as a franchise still are in very, very good shape. And although I was upset about what we got in return for Grant, still as a franchise, we're in a good position. Lots of cap space. Really a lot going for us. The only problem is now we're going to have to find a small forward. But I think that there's a lot of young guys available. And it's also true that Weaver might think very highly of the potential 2025 draft class. So I wonder if that's why that was the particular year that he picked. Never know. I just don't like that it was from Milwaukee, but I'm willing to move on from it. And I'm excited to see who we can sign in free agency either this year or next year. If we wait till next year to sign, we're going to have a ton of money. Like, we already have a ton of money. Now we have a bleep ton. We have a truckload. So if we want to bring high-profile players to Detroit, it's always known that you have to pay a little bit more because we're not a coastal city. Hey, that's fine with me. So kudos to Troy Weaver. We got rid of a guy that wasn't going to be a part of this future, that, needs to be on a win-now team. So I can't really get too upset. We just need to see who they can get in free agency and how they do in the draft. All right, thank you all for listening. Go Pistons. And the draft is coming tomorrow night. Have a good one.